Hey guys, so we have a whole new treasure trove of evidence, long receipts about Min Hee-jin and her plotation, her lies, her manipulation regarding the whole history that she fabricated to create a justification, to create that reason why she would cry so much in the name of injustice at her press conference. Well, I'm sure you have seen the multiple reports about the exclusive dispatch expose on additional receipts, documents from Source Music and HYBE, and also messages from our favorite messaging platform, Kakao. A very ironic, given the whole SM drama, and also what we will learn from some of the messages. But really, what this goes to show is that Min Hee-jin knew. She was stirring it up. She was stirring it, and she knew what she was doing all the way back from 2021. So we do have confirmation from Dispatch saying that they did indeed get all of this evidence for their exclusive report directly from HYBE. In the interim, Min Hee-jin has gone out extremely publicly saying this is all a lie, this is not true, we're going to sue HYBE and everybody and their mom and grandma and stuff like that. And so we also have new messages that came out, but some of them were repeated from some that we've already seen before. So I wanted to go over what people have been just too quickly reporting on and glossing over and not really getting into the meat and bones of the original Dispatch report. And yes, it's all in Korean. And I didn't exactly like the way that they put it sequentially. It somewhat made it harder to follow. It definitely did look like they had to just get this out to the public on some sort of a deadline. So a lot of the stuff that you've probably seen, it didn't go over some of the good parts. I'm gonna take you to the counter to get your Stop Lying to Me Min Hee-jin Miracle Cream. However, sometimes the free gift with purchase is even more exciting. Well, this is what we've got here, because in Source Music and HYBE's evidence and receipts to prove their point that they were defamed and lied about in terms of the whole formation of New Jeans, they included a lot of messages with Min Hee-jin and her shaman. And I know y'all love the Shaman Miracle Cream and the Miracle Essence and the serum. So this one delivers, but we're going to go through the report and you are going to really see how there's a lot of stuff that immediately she, I think, is trying to cover up with her new things. We'll get into that in a different video. So the way Dispatch presents this really takes the opinion that Min Hee-jin is not the victim, and this is almost like a masterclass in manipulation. She needed to create some sort of engine that justified her sense of injustice so that she can get people on her side. And she created this thing about the broken promise that her girl group would go first. So if it's true that the promise wasn't broken, she manipulated it, it doesn't feel like such a big deal, because from the beginning, it's not a big deal. She doesn't have the authority to begin with to say that she is going to be responsible for the first girl group, but you can see how they bent over backwards over at HYBE and Source Music to make that happen, and she was the one that dropped the ball. So Dispatch outlined in a very succinct way, if you look at her claims during the press conference and the receipts that show a different reality. So her claims, we're going to go, it's like about 5 claims. HYBE broke the promise like mobsters about the first girl group debut being under me. Second, I selected the New Jeans members. They came to HYBE because of me. Third, Source collected $2 million after handing them over, which sort of contradicts the first, okay. And fourth, Source didn't manage our girls, they were negligent. And fifth, Kongji will always prevail. Kongji is essentially like the Cinderella character, not the evil stepsister. And then Dispatch was a little shady. They were like, since when was she actually Cinderella? She ain't Cinderella. So then this is the brief outline of Source Music's position. Number 1, the delay in the New Jeans debut was Min Hee-jin's fault. She procrastinated on finalizing the New Jeans branding concept and she ran away from meetings. She ghosted for over a month. Second, Source scouted and signed all the trainees of New Jeans. Min Hee-jin, yes, had a veto card and the formation of the group later on in the process. Third, the $2 million that Source received was not compensation, it was reimbursement for training costs. They were already training these girls, and so that was just a reimbursement. It wasn't like a transfer title fee like they were buying cars or something like that, okay? Fourth, Source trained the New Jeans trainees the entire time until they transferred over to Adore on September 5th, 2021. So, timeline is going to show the truth big time here. They were transferred over to Adore September 2021, and that's when they were just going to get the motor running. When in all of the plans and the receipts, it showed that they should have already been debuted by then. That Source wanted to debut New Jeans in the summer of 2021. So let's go over the timeline. So we're looking at a period of 2018 to 2021. Remember that New Jeans debuted in July, the end of July of 2022 with the single Attention. And this song was already being practiced. There's the practice music video that you saw was from March 2021. So March 2021, that was kind of crunch time. They only had 3 more months until summer started. And so they said Q3, the third quarter of 2021 is when they wanted to launch New Jeans. And so that gives them a little bit of flexibility. Is it June, July, or August? But definitely not September and not the next year. So the main action of the story though is 2020 May to September 2021. And where's the free gift with purchase? Oh, the juiciest part is in March, April 2021. So, to get there though, first, we need to talk about the trainees, because you know how Min Hee-jin said, like, I'm their mother, and the reason why they're here at HYBE is because of me. Well, Source Music showed all the receipts, and they said that, like, we signed, scouted, found all these girls before you even came into the picture, before they probably even knew your name. And so they said that from 2018 to 2021, Source Music recruited 10 trainees. Remember, there's 5 New Jeans members. And so their goal was to debut a girl group in the summer of 2021. But Dispatch says, oh, their plans were thwarted by Min Hee-jin's scheming, because not only were they were gonna have New Jeans go first in the summer of 2021, and then the Sserafim project in January 2022. So those were the goalposts that had been set way in advance. Min Hee-jin knew what these goalposts were. But let's go back to the girls. So in 2018, the Source Music CEO signed New Jeans leader Kim Min-ji. In November 2019, he signed Honey from the Plus Global Audition. Also, in November 2019, he discovered Hae-in on the street, and she was a trainee at another agency. But in December, the next month, December 2019, Hae-in's mom contacted Source Music, and then by February 2020, she was signed with Source. So that's 3 members now. Danielle was a YG trainee, but she left YG and signed with Source in July 2020. That's number 4. The last member, Hae-in, was recruited personally by the Source Music CEO and met with her mom to persuade her to sign, and that contract was signed January 2021. So all of these girls were signed and to Source Music. Yes, in somewhat of this time period, when we're looking at after the 3 girls had been signed, then, when you see these stories about, oh, but I signed, I as Min Hee-jin signed them. Min Hee-jin joined the project in May of 2020, so that would coincide around the time of Danielle, and then she would definitely have been on the creative team for Hae-in. So that's when she would be in the room. But always, the Source CEO had final say of everything. But we'll get into that detail a little bit later. There were also 2 other girls that looked like they were going to be part of the project because they were also, as of March 2021, in the practice video. They have their faces blurred out now, but everyone kind of knows who they are. People are saying that they are part of other groups within Source or HYBE. But at least one of them was kicked out by Min Hee-jin after consulting her shaman because she's saying like, oh my god, she's so ugly, like she has bags under her eyes, she looks possessed, and they were both like, the audacity, okay? The audacity saying that one of those girls was possessed when she was talking to her shaman who was embodying the spirit of her dead sister. Okay, so if Source has all of the trainee contracts, that's really the most ironclad receipt there is. Source scouted, Source signed, Source trained, and took care of all these girls and put them in the... It was a Source Music project before it ever was an Adore project. So, no. The Source CEO guy, he's kind of like the real parent. And then Min Hee-jin just came in like that Gothel character from, the mother of that Tangled or Rapunzel, and locked them up in a castle with just a door. So in a way, this is so odd because there's no reason for her to lie so much about saying like, I am the one who found all of them and they're all moving, they're all here because of me. Because in a way, it's like a nothing burger, but it backfired on her because she so publicly did that press conference and said all these points that Source Music got pissed off at. And so that's why they're suing Min Hee-jin, or one of the reasons, one of the points that they're bringing up, saying like, you are totally lying and we have the receipts, you don't. And, of course, she's also now trying to shut their receipts down, saying like, you're not allowed to post all of these Kakao Talk messages, when she was the one that did at first, and she called a press conference and she had a PowerPoint with all of the Kakao Talk messages. And, this is just, in like a news article report. So now we're going to see a timeline and the receipts that Source Music gave that does show that she not only was responsible for not having New Jeans debut first, it was her that was responsible, but also her plotation of slowly taking power away from Source Music. So she's the new girl that was put in, and suddenly she's just grabbing all of the key points of power. So if you look at this chart of roles and responsibilities, they're showing the evolution of it. So in the first column, essentially, it's like who has the final say. The first column, I'm going from left to right. So starting from May 2020, that's when Bang Si-hyuk asked her to come in and do her job as the chief branding officer, because the way that she understood, and I think they understood, if you're trying to, we're trying to understand how in this company, what does a chief branding officer do? And essentially, I think it's like getting the branding and the concept of the group. So that makes sense that she was supposed to come in, like she's floating around all of the HYBE subsidiaries, and then, giving her professional insight on how to brand and market these girls or guys, these musicians. So but the final say, because this is a Source Music company's project, it's the Source Music CEO, and that didn't change. But then if you look at the next column, which is essentially the committee that makes the decisions on the girl group project. At first it was Source Music, then you could see almost a year later, like 9 months later, it's still Source Music, but then something funny happened in the middle of March 2021. It shifted over to Min Hee-jin, and then stayed with Min Hee-jin in June until at least June, and then of course September of 2021 is when formally the girls moved over to Adore. So she took control of the entire project committee, like she's the committee leader now. Then not only that, the music part. So if you look in the middle of the A&R, so first it was Bang Si-hyuk, like he's gonna call the shots on like how the music's gonna be with Big Hit, and then he wanted to separate himself. He wanted to get out of this project. But then you can see later he just handed it over to his Big Hit people, and then after something happened, then it became Big Hit and Source Music. And then just 3 months later, it's Source Music and Min Hee-jin who is going to decide on all the music. Now, of course, you can see from the beginning to the end, the branding and the visual creatives were handled and given to Min Hee-jin. The performance, this is also what they're saying is shady. The performance, Source Music until the middle of March had control over it, then it went over to Min Hee-jin. So she's slowly taking control of everything, and I guess she didn't really want to do like the actual grunt work, management, business, and marketing, even though she's branding, but like, the actual grunt work, she's just leaving it to all the Source Music staff. Okay, so that is when you can see that there is, a bit of plotation going on. She was, it looks from the trail of evidence, the trail that she took. If you're looking at footprints in the sand, she definitely took all of this. But whether she was doing it maliciously or not, from that you don't know. But we do know from the receipts that'll come in a little bit. So when she landed on the project in May of 2020, she was supposed to start giving the visual creative concepts and working with Source on all of this. She procrastinated. She didn't do anything. And we have the receipts now that it became crunch time in March. So that's when we're seeing from the intercompany messaging system, the evidence of Source Music continually contacting her office to try to get just a meeting on the books to talk about the final piece in the whole thing, which is not even the final piece. Like they should have been already practicing with their, TLC getup and all this kind of, everything that's lifted Mexican jeans, and, now we know. But they should have practiced all of that in this time, but they didn't even have a concept in March of 2021, when June to August is when they were supposed to start debuting new jeans. So imagine 3 months before, you don't even know what you're gonna wear, what your concept is, what your persona is. That's very important for these idol groups, is that they really have a solidified persona individually and as a team, and you can't fully do that. You can't fully merge your inner persona with whatever you've been told to wear and, do like style with right away. They jumped into it though. No, they didn't jump into it because they delayed for a whole year to get ready. And so they were just trying to get a meeting on the books because they already gave her 8 months to come up, and nothing. They wanted to just see what was going on. And so she kept ghosting them. So we're looking at some of these messages, and it's from, most likely, I believe that they were using Slack as their intercompany system. And no, they didn't steal this from, illegally. It was on their cloud. So HYBE is saying like all this data that we've gotten was from our cloud system. We own the data. If you're an employee, everything you do, it's the property of the company. So they have the right to, they own this. And Min Hee-jin released some, it seems like there was some, like a media play attempt going on because saying like, oh, this is illegally taken from my laptop, but she never turned in her laptop, the one in question. But she did say, I turned in a laptop before. Like this was like an older laptop that was not the laptop that HYBE has a warrant to try to get. This was a previous laptop where she wiped all of the hard drive and gave over, but that was the first laptop. But they don't care about that one. They want the one that she was most recently using that she still hasn't turned in. So there again, she's like manipulating to hope that you fall for it. And so you see all of these messages, and at first it's very formal. The source office is contacting her office saying, can we set a meeting? Let us check with Hee-jin and get back to you tomorrow. Okay, please let us know. I mean, that was the end of March, and that was 2 weeks even after they first messaged them. So they waited 2 weeks just to hear, oh, well, let me check in with Hee-jin and get back to you tomorrow. Ghosted. A week later, source contacted them again saying like, hey, did you have a good break? And then the chief branding officer office said like, oh, Hee-jin has a bunch of stuff to take care of this week. She says we should grab a date later this week. Let me see what her Thursday and Friday schedule look like. And source said, yes, if it's possible, we'd like to meet this week. This is April. We have our debut assessment. And then the CBO office, or Min Hee-jin's office, contacts them again a couple hours later saying like, this week won't work. I'll contact you after things settle down. Because she's claiming like, oh, she's so busy, she was on break and like now she's so busy she has to catch up. Ghosted again. Another week goes by. Source says, when can we get a response to setting up a meeting? Are we going to have a look at the materials? And the office of Min Hee-jin says, sorry for the delay, she's working on it and we'll get a meeting set up right away. Source said, understood, it'd be great to get an answer within this week. Source says yes, thank you. Ghosted again. This time, so this is April 12th. So I bet now the Source CEO is just pissed off and being like, why can't you set a meeting? So the Source CEO contacts Min Hee-jin directly on Kakao Talk on April 19th. Mind you, they only have 2 months left until the debut. So Source CEO says, Hee-jin, can we not get a look at the debut concept and promotion plans for our 2021 team? So they call the New Jeans project sometimes the 2021 team, 2021, saying like, and that proves that they wanted to debut New Jeans in 2021. And the Sserafim has always been on the books to debut in 2022. So he says like, can't we get the promotion plans for our 2021 team by the middle of April? Even Si-hyuk, Bang Si-hyuk, Chairman Bang, is saying we need to set up a meeting. Min Hee-jin replies, yes, it seems right that I deliver it after getting it ready, but since Si-hyuk is on vacation, we have to meet next week, right? I wanted to meet up last week, but I was a bit sick. And then the Source CEO is basically, oh my god, I'm giving you a little bit of the subtext, but basically, shade. He's saying, but do your deliverables actually depend on Si-hyuk's schedule? So he's basically saying, like, you can just email us the visual concepts. You don't have to wait until the meeting based on Chairman Bang's schedule. Like, we should be working this out. And then Min Hee-jin is saying, like, well, getting my label finalized is my first priority. Bingo, ding, 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 ding. She's basically saying, like, I'm not going to do this work because I need to finalize my label. Like, so during this time, she was negotiating leaving this Source Music project and team and setting up her own label. And we do have evidence from her conversations with the shaman saying that she feels like she's wasting her efforts by building a project that would only benefit the Source Music CEO. So she says, and as such, shouldn't your priority to get people paid properly on this project? It would be a bit odd to invest in a project when payment is still up in the air. So she just kind of like now is insulting and trying to divert to another thing, and look like the Source Music CEO just got. So when you say stuff like this, especially in this Korean setting where you're, let's just say it would make him pissed. And so it looked like something did definitely go down, because now we have May 7th, 2021, a message exchange between Chairman Bang and CEO of HYBE, Park Ji-won, talking about what just went down at a meeting the day before with the Source team for the New Jeans project. Because it looks like the Source CEO just had enough, and then now he's just like bumping it up the food chain. And there was a meeting. And there so this is how Chairman Bang described it. If this tense exchange continues, it might be better just to pull Min Hee-jin from the Source New Jeans project and have her focus on developing her own label. Let's just get Director A on the Source project and have her take over the marketing. That would be a solution. CEO Park Ji-won responds, yes, per the email that I sent you. Frankly, the problem is if we take our hands off the Source 2021 project, that's the only direction we can take. Let me talk to person X again. Bang Si-hyuk says, well, from Source Music's perspective, they've wanted an image briefing for New Jeans and they've been waiting 8 months for it. So Bang Si-hyuk is acknowledging that Min Hee-jin did not do her job for 8 months. And then he continues saying, frankly, because I haven't been able to deliver on the timeline I agreed to with Source, it's hard to move forward. So you see, Bang Si-hyuk is pressed in 2 directions, mainly because Min Hee-jin created this mess, because he's promising Source Music to debut on a certain schedule. Because that's the Source Music guy's money. If they don't debut, they don't earn the money, and then he doesn't get to basically have his, good profit numbers that will affect his compensation. So we're beginning to see the discussions beginning to take place where it looks like the management, the top brass of HYBE was saying like, okay, man, like, Min Hee-jin has dropped the ball here and there's drama. We're gonna have to manage this situation. A month later, there was this big old meeting, and we can see that they had come up with contingency plans because they were still waiting on Min Hee-jin. And this, in my opinion, is what you came to the beauty counter to buy. Your original reason of why you want to see these receipts. And then we'll get into the free gift with purchase. So the plan they presented was still, even in June 2021, hey, this is still our plan. We really want to debut New Jeans in 2021, but Q3 had already started. Q3 starts June 1st. And then debut Le Sserafim at the start of 2022 in Q1, so that's January to March 2022. That didn't change. That has always been on the schedule, and the Le Sserafim team, Maybe they skipped a few vocal classes, but they were on time. They were making good on their promises for their deadline. So as of June 2021, this was still the plan. So HYBE was saying like, okay, hustle, Min Hee-jin, or if your heart is not in this, we can just get somebody else to do the branding and visual creatives and still hustle out new jeans before 2021 ended. But like a responsible company, they are also considering the contingency plan of whether they have to push back the debut of new jeans, because you also don't want to rush out like a bad product. So they said that, okay, here are two scenarios that we have to consider. So it's sort of like, like a pro and con analysis that they put here. Things to consider if New Jeans debuts first. Label portfolio. New Jeans has the Source Music Group's originality, sound, mood, vibe. So they're saying New Jeans was Source Music's identity as a music brand, not Min Hee-jin's. And it makes good on the word that on the street that they are HYBE and Min Hee-jin's first girl group. So that is still a reason why, let's just try to hustle and just make sure New Jeans debuts first, because that's a good thing. There's an advantage of having Min Hee-jin's name attached to HYBE's first girl group in order to send a signal to the market that we are competitive, especially against SM. So again, you can kind of see how Min Hee-jin positioned herself, saying like, if you attach me to any group, you're basically giving the finger over to SM and telling everybody, we got it. But she didn't bring it. Next, they said things to consider if Sserafim debuts first. So they were saying the feasibility of New Jeans being ready is in doubt. So the scenario is to push New Jeans debut past the first quarter of 2022. Also, if there's no immediate way to resolve this impasse with Min Hee-jin, we have to move forward with Sserafim's debut in the first quarter of 2022, and then we'll have to consider how to reposition New Jeans if they debut second. Now, Source's perspective is that they have to keep in mind that Sserafim's popularity at the moment, you gotta strike while it's hot, and they can't carelessly just delay their debut because it's not fair to the Sserafim team. They didn't do anything wrong. They were working hard to meet their deadlines. So why should they be punished for Min Hee-jin not delivering her main job, which was to be the chief branding officer and be in charge of the branding and visual concepts for New Jeans? She wasn't doing her main job for the group. She was busy plotationing for her own label, which we do have the receipts for, by the way. And you can see now how this is pissing off the executives. There is nothing worse if you are an employee at a company and if you are being accused of not only failing at your job, but your failure having a ripple effect on ruining other teams and other managers. You can mess up the coin in your wallet, but once you start messing up the coins in other people's wallets, there's nothing more that gets, executives mad. Okay, so now let's get to the free gift with purchase. And there's a lot of goodies in this bag. Because we'll start with 2 days later after this meeting, where she called them mobsters. And she said she was shocked about the potential of New Jeans being pushed back. Well, this is her conversation with her shaman. And it shows that she didn't really care about fighting for the New Jeans to debut first. She was more concerned about her label, sabotaging, and stealing. So Min Hee-jin says, I really want to take the girls to my own label now. The Sserafim team is coming into shape. So I think that would be a good justification, like in terms of like arguing. Do you think I can start from scratch with a group? This is her shaman now in responding. Yeah, try to use that excuse that they want to debut Sserafim first. So, their modus operandi, their thinking is to kind of like create these scenarios where, I'm the one being hurt, so therefore I'm justified to demand this. And so you can see that they are viewing that as a manipulation tactic, not because they truly feel wronged and they need to ask for something. Min Hee-jin says, just say, fine, debut Le Sserafim first and let me just go and figure out how to start my own group. And then the shaman says, well, definitely fine to take the New Jeans girls with you. And Min Hee-jin is saying, oh my God, I think the Source Music CEO would have a seizure. So obviously you can see that she was no mama from the beginning. She was willing to leave Source Music, start her own label without the New Jeans girls, because she's saying like, oh gosh, this is gonna be tough because I think that, the Source Music CEO might have a seizure over this. And the shaman had to remind her, but take the girls, come on, that's a good asset. Okay, so now let's go back to March and April and unveil the curtain on what Min Hee-jin was doing, and we can tell what she was doing based on her juicy conversations with the shaman. Now, we have the receipts again from the Kakao Talk messages that were from the cloud of HYBE, and we have to go back just a week before March started to February 25th, 2021. This is okay, trigger warning, this might be a little bit creepy. The shaman starts out by saying, the price of the kut, which is a shaman ceremony, which, let's be real, the way that they're using the shaman ceremony is witchcraft. Witchcraft kind of some rituals to try to get what you want. She says the price of this kut or witchcraft ceremony is about 15 million won, which roughly $15,000. And then Min Hee-jin says, wow, this is right before my bonus. My ancestors will make sure I get a good bonus, right? And then it shows a truncated message. Maybe Source was just trying to be polite, or Dispatch was trying to be polite by not showing like what she wanted 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because I don't know, maybe she wanted baby dad or something. So number 5, because the shaman basically saying like, okay, what do you want? Give me your list of things that we do the witchcraft ceremony for. And number 5, she said, to have Bang Si-hyuk not interfere with my girl group project and get my own way, and then also to get my own way in this project without bearing any losses. Number 6, she said she wanted a great response to the announcement of my own label in May, named All Joy. So remember in previous shaman messages we went over, she was debating like, should I call it Adore or call it All Joy? And the shaman was like, go with Adore, girl. And then the shaman replied, I will meticulously prepare and make sure all of this happens for you. So you go to these shamans to try to get some sort of wish granted. And then I guess for about $15,000, they will ask you for a list and then say that they're going to do it. They're going to prepare it. They're going to do it. And then you'll get what you want. Dispatch says that, because they got a ton of messages and they're trying to just give us doses of them. And they said that the message indicates she spent 40 million won, or about $40,000. It's like $20,000 a month during March and April with the shaman. The shaman didn't look like she gave any gift or purchase to her. So remember that whole ceremony was being planned and paid for at the end of February. So in March, apparently there were results that Min Hee-jin wanted to share with her shaman excitedly. So we saw the Kakao Talk message on March 4th saying that I just got an unexpected call from the Source Music CEO. Bang Si-hyuk is removing himself from the girl project. So she's kind of excited. She wants to share this news with her shaman saying like, hey, it's working. I wanted him gone and he's leaving. And the shaman says, April is going to be epic. Your powers are just going to pop in April. And Min Hee-jin says, anyhow, Bang Si-hyuk is gone thanks to you. So is it all going to work out without any surprises? It seems like a dream, or like maybe it might be too good to be true. Did you change Bang Si-hyuk's heart? Why did the pig pull out all of a sudden? She calls him a pig. And then she said, because he doesn't want to fight with me. So she knows that she stirs it up intentionally, that she creates fights intentionally for her to get enemies to back down. Even if it's the hand that feeds you and you call him a pig. Okay. But apparently the shaman, at least in this situation, is shamaning, because a couple weeks later, March 23rd to the 31st of 2021, we have more messages and Min Hee-jin saying, the deal plan is chugging ahead nicely, but I can't shake this thought. Do I really have to be here? I mean, I can just get other investors. Bang Si-hyuk's money is just going to benefit Source Music. So it looks like there's some sort of negotiations right now. You know, is she going to get some sort of, you know, equity in this Source Music project, or is she going to start her own label? But already we know that she said, I can just get other investors and leave, which is essentially what she was being accused of from the very more developed messages with her team in 2023 and 2024 about the exact same thing. She's already starting to think about it in 2021. Because she wants it all for herself, because you can see from multiple messages, she's saying like, you know, all this work that I'm doing, it's only going to benefit Source Music, where she doesn't remember that she was hired to be the chief branding officer of HYBE. And so she's basically drop in, help the label, drop in, help another label, drop in, so that the overall HYBE branding concept, visual creatives, and the linkages to sponsorships would be like a powerhouse and well coordinated by one team captain. She forgot about that. She's just thinking like, well, this is all this work, and like somebody else is gonna, you know, it's gonna go to somebody else. So then the shaman replied, you have to use, and she did, Bang Si-hyuk's money. And now we're seeing them using this horrible language to describe Bang Si-hyuk. And not only do they say Bang Ka Nom. So Nom already, instead of Nim means like whenever you attach to somebody's name, like, hey, and it's kind of rude in Korea to say like, hey Sean, you'll say like, hey Sean Nim. And so Nim is an honorific way of just attaching, like a medium honorific way to somebody, the standard way. But Nom means fool, peasant, servant, slave. And so instead of that, they're saying like not Pang Nom at the end, and Ka is even worse, is because she is like another way to say like to add an honorific to somebody's name. So instead of Sean Nim, Sean Shi. But some people, oh my god, one when I didn't know in Korea, like I was trying to say like, you know, use some honorific, and I used she after somebody's name, which is polite, but in that setting, she didn't think it was polite enough, and she got mad. She's just like, she, because in a way it could also be somewhat of an insult, but then to go ka, which is literally just massively disrespectful. So if you ever, I mean, if this, just from this, I could see like Bang Si-hyuk would be like, cut, fired, done, out of here. Because if you call the chairman of a company last name Bang Ka Nom, you better be on a boat, or they're gonna put you on a boat to nowhere. So anyhow, the shaman says, oh, you have to use Bang Ka Nom's money. And Min Hee-jin says, like, it just seems like a waste to build up somebody else's company. And the shaman says, you will acquire your own company in exactly 3 years. Min Hee-jin replies, yeah, I really want it. I'll put the girl group in my label's name and fight the Source CEO over it and win. But really, who do I make my label with? Do I team up with CEO Kim Sung something, or the name was somewhat obscured and gobble up Bang Si-hyuk's company? Do I team up with CEO Kim and gobble up Bang Si-hyuk's company? So already in 2021 March, she's already thinking of betraying her boss and taking his company. 2021. And then the shaman says something a little, nobody's explained this. She said, yeah, with the 5 eagle brothers or 5 brother eagles. I don't know. That might be somebody in a different shaman village. Who knows? But it just seemed a little weird. And then Min Hee-jin's like, oh, wow. And the shaman says, CEO Kim will help you take HYBE from Panganom, like Chairman Bang, but in the basically saying from the Bang mother mofo. So wow, even in 2021, she wasn't just thinking about stealing a door, she was thinking about taking over HYBE. Then a few days later, April 1st, 2021, when she's supposed to be doing her work, she's like pushing back all these meetings saying that, oh my God, she has so much to catch up on. Yeah, she was catching up with her shaman. So Min Hee-jin says, let's quit in July, but I'll demand to stay on as a brand advisor. So I'm going to make my label outside of HYBE. Big Hit, invest 30%, Kakao 30%, the rest my money. What do you think? The shaman says, she's not bad at business. She says, you mustn't put in your own money. The Min Hee-jin says, but I have to put in my own money for it to become mine. Shaman says, your work is your contribution to the equity, honey. 2 days later, April 3rd, 2021, Min Hee-jin says, so I'll freelance over at Big Hit and make ties with Pana. So I don't know, Pana seems to be like some sort of financial entity. Maybe it's with Kakao. So she says, so that part will be funded. So my part will be funded by Pang's money. Pana will use Kakao's money. So Pana, I guess, investment company or investor tied to Kakao. The shaman says, right, spread it out. Then Min Hee-jin replies, if I do, I have to have some of Pana's equity. So basically just saying like, I need to make sure that they don't have a lot. So she says, should I buy some of them out? And the shaman says, I get what you're trying to do, but that's not in the cards or necessary. And then Min Hee-jin says, oh, so you mean I don't have to buy any of their shares? And then the shaman says, that's the way it seems to me. So yes, she told the truth when at the end, when she was arguing with the Source Music over her deliverables, and then she kind of blurted out, well, sorry, the formation of my own company is my top priority right now, so I can't, get to this branding stuff that I waited 8 months on and still didn't work on. April 16th, 2021, Min Hee-jin is complaining to her shaman, saying like, I gotta replace and throw out all the Source Music staff. And the shaman says, I'm preparing that. So I guess she ordered up another witchcraft ceremony, and the shaman is like, oh yeah, I got you, girl. We're gonna do some sort of like hooting, chanting, hollering, like stepping on knives and stuff, and make sure that the Source Music staff is gonna be thrown out of HYBE. Min Hee-jin says, I hate them all. I really just need to go and to my own label. It's a mess. We have to make the announcement that I have direction over the music. Remember, she took over a lot of the A&R responsibilities or decision making. And then she says, but I don't know if they'll give in to that. Like, she wants a press release saying like, oh, Min Hee-jin is now gonna set the sound and music of the New Jeans project. Shaman says, I'm getting ready for everything. By May or June, it will all be over and we'll make the Source CEO step down. So now she has some sort of witchcraft voodoo stuff on the Source Music CEO as the target. And they said like, once the Source Music CEO is defeated, you can make pearls. And Min Hee-jin says, oh, you think he will really back down? Because he's a super ambitious mofo. So, how did it turn out? Did it really go all of her way by June, the way that the shaman promised? And by the way, apparently other reports saying like that Dispatch has found that she spent like $70,000 over the course of this year or something like that. Like they extended the time frame beyond just March and April, $40,000, but then there's another figure coming out, 70,000. So she's probably ordering hits on everybody. It's like a spiritual hitman. So the records show that April 1st, 2021, she registered the trademark for a door. So remember, like during that time, they were trying to set up the meetings, like, where's the branding? Where's the branding for New Jeans? She's setting up trademarks, okay? She's not, she's not answering your calls because she has to go on LegalZoom. And then November 12th, 2021, that's when HYBE officially announced the establishment of Adore with Min Hee-jin as the new CEO. So April was the trademark, then November she is officially announced, but then September is when the girls transferred over. But let's look at her message on the 30th of June 2021. Min Hee-jin says to her shaman, so the deal I have is 20% of Adore with a put option of profits times 13. Remember, we went over the whole put options, and basically it's kind of like a payout that she can get later that is 13 times the profits. But she said, I want to raise it to 20 times the profits so that she'd get more money. So she was already fighting for more money, put options in 2021. And so she said that why? Because it's just a hunch, but later when I'm unstoppable, HYBE won't be able to pay up that huge amount of money because she's expecting she's going to make tons of profits. And then when she does her put option, she's going to ask, okay, pay up HYBE. And then they're just like, oh, we don't have that money. And then basically her response would be, well, if you can't afford to pay, then just give me this company or sell me more of this company. So then eventually she has the majority shares. Remember, this is all part of the plan. So even if she said, I couldn't do anything with 20%, she was already plotting and planning in 2021, even before she had the New Jeans girls, to find a way where she's going to take over the company. So she said that when I heard that, I thought, wow, that's how you steal a company. So I don't know who she was having drinks with at this time, but somebody with a lot of experience in options and manipulating on how to steal a company later, right from the person that probably gave it to you. So she said, my negotiation agenda is number 1, snatch the girl group. Number 2, go for 20x on the options. What do you think? She's saying to her shaman. Shaman says, I think you're going to have to compromise on the 20x. Now, the shaman is shady. The shaman, no good. But at the same time, she was right on a lot of things. And whether it's just business instinct or psychic ability or both, she did predict correctly that the multiple, like her being greedy over the multiple, which would essentially determine her payout, would be an issue. Because HYBE already knows when they look at these deals, like a 20x leads you to have more risk and uncertainty and exactly the situation that Min Hee-jin is hoping to happen. They don't want to happen where they're gonna have to be, forced to sell their arms and legs over this deal where they gave too much to Min Hee-jin. So that's what I wanted to focus on today, because all of the media plays that have come out on the second and third wave of this recent release are making us forget that the juiciest stuff at the counter plus the free gift with purchase was in the first drop. And remember, this completely shows yet again her reliance on the shaman, and then how the conversations with the shaman explain her out of ordinary behavior with the HYBE and Source Music teams. We saw like she was giving all these excuses. She was sick, she was busy, she couldn't get back to them with the branding and marketing and the visual creative concepts, even though she had 8 months to do it, because she was working with her shaman, ordering up all these witchcraft ceremonies so that she could just start taking everything. So she knew from the beginning that she was stirring it up. Her little cauldron, she was stirring it up in the cauldron. And there is no excuse that these were all just jokes in the moment, because she was already talking about this, not joking even, talking about it and plotting it with her shaman all the way back in 2021. Alright guys, what do you think? Put your comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. See you again next time. Bye-bye.